Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Today we're diving into Matthew chapter 7,
Oh, yeah, this is a great one.
verses 1 through 29 to be exact.
That's right, a whole section.
It's right after the Sermon on the Mount.
Oh, wow. So the crowd's really energized at this point.
I think they're ready for some more wisdom.
Definitely.
And boy, do they get it.
Absolutely jam-packed.
We've got judgment-seeking truth, building a life that can handle anything.
Endless stuff, you know.
Totally timeless.
It's amazing how relevant these teachings still are.
I know. It's like they speak to something deep within us.
Yeah, something that transcends time and culture.
And it starts off with a real zinger.
Oh, yeah, a powerful one.
Judge not that you be not judged.
Makes you stop and think.
It really does.
How often are we judging others without even realizing it?
Probably more than we'd like to admit.
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in pointing out the flaws in others.
But this passage is like a mirror, you know?
It's showing us our own hypocrisy.
That analogy of the speck and the log.
So vivid, isn't
You
it?
get this tiny speck in someone else's eye.
And we're totally blind to this massive log in our own,
It's like we're so focused on the little thing.
that we miss the big picture completely.
And this feels so relevant today, especially with social media.
Oh my gosh, it's like a breeding ground for judgment,
Everyone's got an opinion,
and they're not afraid to share it.
and often without knowing the full context.
Yeah, we jump to conclusions so quickly.
It makes me wonder how this teaching applies to cancel culture.
That's a great point. Are we too quick to judge and condemn?
Are we forgetting about grace and understanding?
It's a tough question.
And it's not just online either.
Right, it happens in our everyday lives too,
How often do we judge people based on first impressions?
or superficial observations.
I know I've been guilty of that.
We all have.
But this passage reminds us to look deeper,
To consider the complexities of human experience.
to recognize that everyone has a story.
Absolutely.
So it's not about becoming passive.
Or letting things slide.
It's about approaching others with more empathy,
And humility.
recognizing our own imperfections.
That's so important.
So we move from judgment to this incredible message of hope.
Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites.
Ask, and it shall be given you, and you shall find, knock, and it shall be opened unto you.
Wow, that's powerful.
It suggests that the universe is responsive to our desires.
But it's deeper than just material possessions.
Right. It's about seeking wisdom and guidance,
A connection to something greater than ourselves.
lining ourselves with a purpose.
That transcends our immediate wants and needs.
And the analogy of the parent and the child.
So beautiful.
A parent wouldn't give their child a stone if they asked for bread.
Exactly, they want to give good gifts.
So if earthly parents understand this,
How much more will a loving and infinite source provide?
it's a level of trust and faith that can be hard to grasp.
But it's so reassuring when you really think about
It
it.
really is.
And it challenges us to examine what we're truly seeking.
Are we asking for things that align with our deepest values?
Or are we chasing fleeting desires?
That's a good question to ask ourselves.
It is.
And from seeking, we move to one of the most well-known teachings of all time.
The golden rule.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Simple, but so profound.
It cuts through all the complexities.
And gets to the heart of how we should treat each other.
It's not just a Christian principle either.
It's found in various forms across cultures and religions.
It's a universal principle for building a better world.
A more compassionate and just world.
Imagine if every interaction, every decision was guided by that principle.
What a thought.
It speaks to the potential for positive change within each of us.
Absolutely.
Our personal relationships, our communities, even global politics.
It could all be so different.
And then the passage shifts gears.
Oh yeah, it takes us on a new path.
The metaphor of the two gates.
The narrow gate leading to life.
And the wide gate leading to destruction.
It's about choices, isn't it?
The choices that shape our direction.
Why is the path to a fulfilling life described as narrow?
That's a good question.
Maybe it suggests intentionality.
Like, it's not about drifting along with the crowd.
Or taking the easy way out.
It's about making conscious choices that lead to growth.
Even if those choices are challenging.
Resisting instant gratification.
Choosing long-term fulfillment.
Putting in the effort.
Exactly.
And then we get another insightful image.
The tree and its fruit.
Don't be deceived by appearances.
Look at the outcomes.
Judge the quality by the results.
It's not enough to just talk the talk.
We have to walk the walk.
Actions speak louder than words.
This applies to everything.
Evaluating character.
Assessing beliefs.
You can tell the quality of something by what it produces.
So how can we apply this wisdom in our own lives?
How can we discern true intentions and authenticity?
There's so much noise and deception out there.
It's true.
It's hard to know what to believe sometimes.
It starts with paying attention,
Observing actions,
looking for consistency and integrity,
questioning things that seem too good to be true.
and being willing to question our own assumptions.
Because sometimes we can be deceived by what we want to believe.
That's right.
Self-awareness is crucial.
Absolutely.
We need to be honest with ourselves
About our own motivations.
and the lenses through which we view the world.
It's not always easy
But it's necessary.
if we want to truly discern the truth.
Which brings us to another powerful statement.
Go for it.
Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven.
Whoa.
That's a bit of a reality check.
It is.
It challenges the idea that simply professing faith is enough.
True faith is demonstrated through action.
Aligning our lives with a higher purpose.
It's not just about believing, it's about doing,
putting our beliefs into practice.
making a tangible difference in the world.
Living a life that reflects the values we claim to hold.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just say the right word.
Right. It's about actually living them out,
Putting our faith into action.
making it real in our everyday lives.
But how do we know what that looks like?
What does it really mean to do the will of something greater than ourselves?
That's a big question.
It is a question that has challenged people for centuries.
And there are no easy answers.
But I think it starts with a sense of openness
A willingness to listen.
to that inner voice, that intuition, that sense of guidance,
So it's about aligning our actions with our deepest values.
with our understanding of what is right and good.
It's not about following a rigid set of rules.
It's about living in accordance with a deeper sense of purpose.
And to illustrate this point, Jesus tells a parable of the two builders.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
One builds his house on solid rock,
The other on shifting sand,
and then the storm comes.
and the house on the sand crumbles.
It's such a powerful image.
It really is.
It stayed with me since I was a kid.
I think it resonates with everyone.
So the rock represents a foundation built on hearing and acting on these teachings.
Aligning our lives with wisdom and truth.
And the storms represent the challenges and setbacks we all face.
Loss, heartbreak, disappointment, failure.
These are universal experiences.
No one escapes them.
And the foundation represents our inner strength and resilience.
The things that help us weather those storms.
So if we build our lives on fleeting desires, superficial values, the opinions of others,
We're setting ourselves up for a pretty shaky existence.
but if we ground ourselves in something deeper, something more enduring,
We can withstand whatever comes our way.
it makes you think about what kind of foundation we're building.
In our own lives.
Are we taking the time to really examine our values, our beliefs, the things we're prioritizing?
Or are we just going with the flow, hoping for the best,
I think that's what makes these teachings so relevant.
even centuries later?
They offer a roadmap for building a life that can handle those inevitable challenges.
They provide a framework for developing inner strength, resilience, a sense of purpose.
Things that can guide us through difficult times.
Exactly.
And it's interesting to note that the passage concludes by highlighting the impact of Jesus' teaching on the crowd,
They were blown away.
astonished by his authority.
His ability to speak with such conviction and power.
It wasn't just what he said.
It was how he said it.
There was an authenticity, a depth to his words.
That resonated with people on a profound level.
It speaks to the power of living in alignment with your truth.
When you're grounded in your values and beliefs, it comes across in everything you do and say.
People sense that authenticity.
There's a certain magnetism to those who live with integrity and purpose.
It's not about being perfect.
Or having all the answers.
It's about striving to live in a way that reflects your deepest understanding of what is true and good.
It's a lifelong journey.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Judgment-seeking truth, the golden rule, building a solid foundation, discerning authentic action.
There's so much to unpack in these teachings.
And what's remarkable is how relevant they remain.
Even today.
They offer timeless wisdom for navigating the complexities of life relationships, our own inner world.
It's amazing.
I'm curious what stands out to you as particularly meaningful or challenging in these verses.
It's a good question.
What really resonated with you?
I think for me, the concept of judging others and the call to look inward has always been powerful.
Me too.
It's something I try to be mindful of in my own life.
It's so easy to get caught up in judging others.
But it's often a reflection of our own insecurities or unresolved issues.
When you realize that,
It can be a catalyst for personal growth,
it invites us to approach others with more empathy and understanding,
recognizing that we're all on our own journeys.
facing our own challenges.
We're all in this together.
And the passage reminds us that it's not about being perfect
It's about striving to live in a way that aligns with our values.
and contributes to a better world.
making a difference,
And that journey begins with reflecting on these teachings.
and considering how we can apply them in our own lives,
Perhaps it's about practicing non-judgment,
or seeking wisdom more actively.
or making a conscious effort to live by the golden rule.
Even small steps can create a ripple effect
And maybe it's about taking the time to examine the foundation we're building.
in our own lives.
Are we grounding ourselves in things that are truly meaningful and enduring?
Or are we settling for something less?
Because when the storms hit,
And they will hit.
it's the strength of our foundation that will determine whether we weather the storm or crumble beneath it.
That's a powerful thought.
So it's like we've been given this incredible toolbox.
Yeah, filled with wisdom and guidance.
And it's up to us to actually use those tools.
Right, not just admire them.
To build something meaningful and lasting.
To create a life that reflects these teachings.
That's what this deep dive into Matthew 7 is all about.
It's not just about passively listening,
It's about actively engaging with these ideas
wrestling with
and integrating them into our lives.
It's about taking ownership of our spiritual growth,
Recognizing that it's a journey.
not a destination. We're always learning,
Always growing.
always evolving.
And these teachings delivered centuries ago.
They still have so much to offer us today.
They really do.
They speak to something universal, something deep within the human experience.
Something that transcends time and culture.
And that's what makes them so compelling.
They offer this framework for understanding ourselves, our relationships, the world around us.
In a way that feels both profound and practical.
So as we wrap up our exploration of Matthew 7.1-9,
I want to leave you with this thought.
what seed of wisdom will you take from this passage?
And nurture in your own life.
What will you allow to take root and grow?
Maybe it's a renewed commitment to practicing non-judgment.
Or a deeper desire to seek wisdom and truth?
Or a willingness to build your life on a foundation of integrity and action.
Whatever resonates with you, let it guide you.
As you navigate the complexities and challenges of life.
Remember, even the smallest act of kindness,
The slightest shift towards living in alignment with your values.
it can create a ripple effect of positive change.
In the world around you.
So keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep building a life that truly matters.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.